Good morning, IVC kids. How are you today? You know, this week I've been thinking, I have so many questions since we haven't gotten to talk in a while. You know, now that it's summer, what are you guys doing with all your time? And, you know, how is the end of your school year? I just wonder, like, Alice and Caleb and Mary, are you still playing with all your neighborhood friends? Are you having a good time? And then, you know, some of my newer friends, Alexa, Gia, Ethan, Anna Ruth, how are you? Are you guys still out there? I still think about you and wonder what you're doing. And then I think about my boys, Jesse and Jace and Daniel, and Jamie and Marcello. What in the world are you doing to burn off all that energy that you have? And then some of my girls, Aiden, Hannah, Alice, what have you been drawing lately? I mean, you've had a lot of weeks to draw, and I've missed out on a lot of years. And Hannah, are you still reading Little House books? All these things that I wonder. And then you bigger kids who are technically in Mr. Paul's class, you know, Bella, Isaiah, Garrett, Jacob, Kiana, Anna, Natalie. Do you watch these things, or do you like bug out like my kids do? Vivian and Olivia, are you still there? Oh, here's an important question. Allie, Aiden, Jesse, Daniel, Coulter, Prince, are you being nice to your little sisters? I mean, like, Taylor, have you gotten to ride any horses? All these questions that I have since I haven't seen you. Oh, parents, I need you to do me a big favor. Can you just give them all a big hug for me, because I just miss them and I love them so much. But I can tell you one thing that hasn't changed. Miss Teri has not run out of stories. I have a story for you today, and this one is from Daniel chapter 5. In Daniel chapter 5, there's a new king in Babylon. His name is Belshazzar. And Belshazzar was the successor from Nebuchadnezzar. He's the king that we've been talking about the last couple weeks. Well, Belshazzar decides to have a party. Now, this is not a little party. This is not like a social distancing, less than 10 people party. This isn't even like 100 people party. This is like 1,000 people party. He has this huge party for all his nobles, and they're having a great time. And he remembers that there's these special cups, these gold and silver cups that King Nebuchadnezzar had brought from the temple in Jerusalem when he brought the Israelites to Babylon. And he says, go get those cups. We're going to use those cups for this party. So they bring in these really fancy gold and silver cups, and they're drinking out of them. These are from the holy temple in Jerusalem, and they're drinking out of them like they're party cups. And then to make it even worse, they start praising their idols. They're idols that are made out of gold and silver and bronze and stone and wood. They start praising their gods while they're drinking out of these holy cups from the temple. All of a sudden, in the middle of the party, there's a finger that appears. Not a person, not a hand, a finger. And the finger writes a message on the wall. Well, needless to say, King Belshazzar, he's like freaking out. He's turning pale, and his knees are knocking together, and his legs fall out from under him. And he's like, go get the wise men. So they bring in all the wise men, and he said, listen, guys, he said, whoever can tell me what this message on the wall is, I'm going to give you a royal purple robe. I'm going to put a gold chain around your neck, and you're going to be the third in power in the kingdom. Tell me what this message is. Well, all those wise men, none of them could tell him what the message was. Well, now the king is really getting worried, and the nobles and his guests are really getting worried, and he turns pale. His mother hears about this, and she hears that he's really freaking out. So she comes into the banquet room, and she says, Belshazzar, calm down. There is a person in your kingdom who is filled with the Spirit of God, and he can interpret dreams, and he can solve riddles, and he can answer problems. You need to send for this man, and he can tell you what this message is. His name is Daniel. So he says, yes, go get Daniel and bring him in. So they bring Daniel into the banquet room, and Belshazzar says, Daniel, I have heard that you have the Spirit of God in you and that you can interpret dreams and solve riddles and answer problems. Please tell me what this message on the wall is. And when you do, I'm going to give you a purple robe and a gold chain to go around your neck, and you'll be third in power in the kingdom. Daniel says, you can keep your gifts. He says, this is what you need to know. Your predecessor, King Nebuchadnezzar, was blessed by God. God honored him, and his kingdom was big, and he had lots of glory, and his kingdom stretched out. And he said, and then King Nebuchadnezzar started getting arrogant and puffed up, and he thought, I have done all of this by my power and because I am so great. And God had to take it all away from him, and God took it all away from him. He lost his mind. He started acting like a wild animal. He was eating grass like a cow. He said, until he realized that the Most High God is the one who creates the kingdoms, and he gives them to who he wants to, and he takes them away. He said, and you knew all of this, King Belshazzar, and you knew what happened to him, and that he came back and realized that God was the one responsible. And yet you have defied this God. You have not humbled yourself, and you have even gotten these gold and silver cups from the temple, from his temple in Jerusalem, and you've just defied him. And God is giving you this message. And this is what the message says. The words on the wall are mene, mene, tekel, parsin. And this is what they mean. Mene means numbered. Your days are numbered, King, and your rule is about to come to an end. And tekel means weighed. You have been weighed on the balance, and you have not measured up. And then the third word is parsin, and that means divided. That's because God is going to divide your kingdom between the Medes and the Persians. And he said, oh, Daniel, thank you for telling me what this message means. And he brought in a royal purple robe and put on him and put a gold chain around his neck. And he said, you are going to be the third highest in my kingdom. Well, that very night, King Belshazzar was killed, and his kingdom was divided, and Darius the Mede became the new king. Oh my goodness, the stories that we have found in Daniel. What we've got to remember from these stories is what King Nebuchadnezzar and King Belshazzar had to learn. God is in control of everything. He's in charge of all the kingdoms, and he decides who has what and when it's going to be taken away. And if we don't remember who God is and remember who has all who gives us the very breath in our bodies, then it could all change. So we need to be like Daniel and remember these stories, remember the things that God has done, and remember to pray to him and get to know him and spend time with him. Whether you're playing outside or spending time with your family or being very nice to your little sister, just remember that God loves you and that he wants the best for you, and he wants you to remember that he loves you and that he's done all these good things for you. So as you go about your day this week, and whatever that involves, whatever you're spending time doing, remember that Ms. Teri loves you and misses you, and God loves you, and he doesn't miss you because he's right there with you, and he wants you to remember him. So you guys have a great week, and I'll see you soon.